How many people's furry origin story was Pet Society? So I had filmed a completely different video today. In a strange turn of events, which I definitely didn't expect because the exact same thing happened when I was streaming or anything, the game crashed. I'm not going to say what game because I don't want to make it feel bad for being a game that's 20 years old and won't run on my PC, but I'm really sad about it. So all of that footage got corrupted, which means I need something to edit tonight. And I'm looking around my room, I'm looking around my life, I'm like, what do I want to talk about tonight? I think it's time for me to make a Pet Society video. Are you truly a gamer girl? If you don't also have some kitty ears, I don't know. So, funnily enough, originally, I started this video talking about how this was kind of my gaming origins. Detective Barbie 2 was the first PC game I ever played as a kid. So, all that considered, it's kind of fitting that I'm talking about Pet Society today because Pet Society is the origin of my Gatcha gaming career life. Many of you may know that for a really long time, I was posting app content about specifically Dream Girlfriend and other Gatcha games. I have spent a lot of time and money on Gatcha games. Something about them had such a huge hold on my brain. And while I could hypothetically point the finger to Gaia Online, I don't think Gaia had the Gatcha market in the same way that Pet Society did for me. So let's talk about what Pet Society was. So Pet Society was a Facebook game. I don't even know if Facebook games still exist. Frankly, I spend such little time on Facebook. It is my least touched social media platform. Facebook games still exist. Okay, you know, good for it. But Facebook gaming was a pretty large element of the platform from, I would say, the years of like 2008 to 2012, 13. You had Farmville, which was huge. Words with Friends was on there. A lot of these app games would run within Facebook itself, so you could play from the desktop. Pet Society had a super adorable aesthetic. It started running in 2008, and it was ran by the company Playfish. I didn't realize this at the time. I thought Pet Society wasn't that big of a thing. It was one of the most popular Facebook games at the time. How it worked is essentially you could have a pet, you could design them choosing their gender, name, and appearance through color, and I think you could change the ears that they had and the tail and their decorations. And you could interact with your pet by feeding them and brushing them, petting them, all of that. The biggest part for me personally was the aspect of dressing up your pets and decorating your house. I actually have a photo of my home. I think this is basically how my home looked when the game ended. Pet Society officially ended in 2013, and I believe I was an active player till then. I remember when it ended how devastated that I was. But this is actually what my house looked like. So I had a number of different rooms. I had 8 rooms, 3 outdoor areas with multiple different trees. Trees were used to grow food so you could feed your pet. Oh my god, just looking over this, I see so many iconic Gatcha things. One I really distinctly remember collecting were the astrology teddy bears. Those are so cute. I want those IRL. Another, I think the dollhouse stuff was free, available for free somehow. I really remember distinctly collecting all of those. There were all these dolls that you could get. And then I had a ton of clothes for my pet itself. Now, I sadly don't really have pictures of all of their outfits, which breaks my heart, but this was when I was really starting to get into Lolita fashion and ball jointed dolls. So I really loved a kind of Victorian, again, Lolita fashion, beautiful frilly aesthetic, and I really aimed for getting those types of clothes for my pet and dressing him like that. You can have wigs for your pets too, which I'm like, this is like obviously not really a real pet. We're basically like making furries. Oh my god. How many people's furry origin story was Pet Society? As you can maybe start to guess with the amount of stuff I had, and if you've watched my Gaia online video, you might already know this, but Pet Society was the first thing online I think I ever spent money on. It might have come before me ever ordering anything online ever. But yeah, Pet Society was the first game I ever spent money on, especially Gatcha game I ever spent money on. The way I did this at the time is there was a place where you could enter in your phone number and they would charge it to your phone bill. So as soon as I got a cell phone, I figured this out and I used that to be able to spend money on Pet Society without telling my parents. And then I eventually got in trouble for that, of course. So then I would use that as like if I wanted, like, if my parents needed an incentive for me to do something, or if they were paying me for something, I'd be like, can I have it in Pet Society instead? And they'd be like, our child is insane, but okay. I don't think I spent a ton of money on it. I would estimate maybe $20 to $40 over the course of like a few years of playing it. Definitely wasn't spending a lot. I do not remember at all how the currency system worked or how much, $1 would be equivalent to. But I think I probably spent significantly less on Pet Society than I did on Gaia, just because Pet Society was kind of my introduction to that space, and I know there were still ways to get the gacha items without having to spend your actual money. Now, I remember there were mini games in the game you could use to earn money, taking care of your pets. You could earn money. There was a daily lottery. You could visit your friends. I even made multiple Facebook accounts so I could like visit myself on my different accounts and get like special items and stuff, doing stuff like that. I have more than 3 Facebook accounts just because of Pet Society. I was so into this. So yeah, what we had was a very successful Facebook game that was one of the most popular on Facebook at the time, and closed. It closed. Why? Let's talk about it. So I'm going to say my theory and then I'm going to look it up. So Pet Society existed in the weird space where the internet was happening really fast, but phones hadn't quite caught up to it yet. We didn't quite have smartphones. iPhone was out by then, but like smartphones weren't the thing yet when Facebook games were really at the height of their popularity. So what I believe happened is, likely as smartphones became more available, iOS gaming took the market that Facebook gaming had created. I think it's literally like Facebook had created this like gaming world with Pet Society and Farmville, and that all just somehow completely migrated over to your phones. And suddenly you didn't have to be on your computer to play your little pet taken care of game. You could do that on your phone. It's a whole new world. So I literally think that entire audience just totally scooted over, and because of that, it was nowhere near as profitable as it once was. And I have a feeling that is why EA, who acquired Playfish, I think the year after Pet Society originally came out, in 2009. I think that is why EA probably decided to shut down. Yes, I'm exactly right. It sounds like all of the growth migrated from Facebook games to mobile games, which makes complete sense. The market wasn't there anymore. Who's gonna go to their desktop to play a game that they can find basically an equivalent to on their phone? It's still really sad because I love Pet Society. It's just insane to realize how popular Pet Society was. There was a pretty large online backlash to the shutting down of the servers. People were very upset about it. There is now a very similar app game called Pet Paradise, which is apparently available on some app stores. It's pretty obviously trying to look like the same style. And there are ways you can download a version of Pet Society on your computer, but I'm not gonna mess with that either, just because it feels a little bit risky. But yeah, Pet Society was a really major point in my childhood, and I think the gameplay of Pet Society, especially with its gacha system where you'd purchase like a themed thing, you wouldn't know what one you were gonna get, that and getting me hooked on that at an early age is probably what drove me to have such heavy interest in Gaia Online, as well as then so many of the app games I have played and been really into, including, of course, Dream Girlfriend. Facebook games set the groundwork for Genshin Impact. That's all I'm saying. Pet Society set the groundwork for Genshin Impact. Know your facts. But really, I can't think of another game before some of these Facebook games that was that. Pet Society was the big gacha game at the time for at least the US audience. And I think it had a huge impact culturally on gaming and the future of gaming. Pet Society was the future of gaming. I'm going off the rails. Yeah. So that's my spiel about Pet Society. Honestly, I do believe Pet Society is kind of the future of gaming. It is so near and dear to my heart. I loved it so much. If it came back, I would be happy. I would literally get on Facebook just to play Pet Society. Like, if they put it on iOS, baby, every night I'd be there dressing up my pet in a different outfit. I just wish I could go back and see some of the outfits that I had. I'm sure I could like scroll through the Facebook page for long enough. Tell me what your favorite game was as a kid. I want you to give me your gaming origin story. Was it Pet Society? Was it Barbie Detective? Was it Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses? Was it something different? You gotta let me know. Were you an OG Nancy Drew fan? Did you play Civilization with your dad? I don't know. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Join the Discord if you would like to receive alerts for any time that I upload a YouTube video or go live on Twitch. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.